I'm back with another rig rundown. So as you probably saw in a previous video, got the one piano, got the one synthesizer, and got the organ. Now me, I like two synthesizers, a lead and a bass. The bass synthesizer comes from this organ. I like it because it gives me a lot of controls over the envelope, filter, octave, pitch, all the stuff that you need. It's all packed inside this little space here. And this section is controlled by the lower half of this controller. And from here, you get to middle C. And I have 4 octaves of the lead synthesizer, which comes from this module here. And this gives me even more hands-on control over what the lead synthesizer should sound like. I prefer to have 3 oscillators, which this one does. I also have the ability, of course, to show what the aftertouch does, and that's important because my left hand is usually busy doing something other than pitch and mod. So I could press the key. Maybe if I make it more extreme. So that's really cool. But also, if I wanted to have a kind of dual manual organ experience, I'm not really all that, but I can do that because not only does this controller have aftertouch, but it has its own set of drawbars. So basically, I'm taking the MIDI out from this keyboard and running into the MIDI in of the Hammond SK Pro twice, while also being filtered. So if you press the play button, it'll scroll through all of these important looking pages. This one is the default, I think, but if you press play again, it'll show you the active position of your drawbars. So when you have these set of drawbars on the machine itself, it'll show you where the drawbars are, and as long as you don't press one of these buttons here, these will always reflect the real position of the drawbars. And that's nice because I need another set of 9. And the nice part is that the other set of 9 is on this very keyboard here. So as I move these ones down, I can also manipulate the lower manual of the organ. So I could say mute my bass by turning the volume down. And then I could pull out some. And this is the lower manual. So you can hear the chorus. And the no chorus on the top, just to prove that these are indeed different manuals. That's really cool. Likewise, I have the kind of a same thing happening down at the piano. If I wanted a piano, I can play the EP. I can also do a acoustic piano. And then I also have a clavinet. And I can turn this on, and yet nothing happens. That's because I have the other keys controlling this particular module, which is why this light here blinks. Blink. So I can mess with my settings here, put that on. And if I don't want that, I just press one button and it's off. And this, put back up the volume for the organ, and it's an organ again. Or it's both at the same time. Now you have a plucky organ. Anyways, in addition to the bass synthesizer and the organ that's being controlled by its own keys and another set of different keys, it can also do kind of a 2-4-part timbral sort of things here with the piano section and the ensemble section. And I have like a mellotron thing going on. So if you press the edit button and page over to the components page and press enter, you'll see that I have the violins, the brass, the choir, and the flute. And instead of switching my program to go from violins to flute, all I need to do is adjust the faders here, and I have real-time control over all 4 sounds loaded into this particular program. And these faders here are these things here. And if they're too bright, you can page over to the filter section. It doesn't need to be on this page, but just to see the numbers moving, I can close or open the filter depending on whether I think the sound at the time is too bright or too dark. So that's these 4 faders here. So this is also another MIDI controller. In addition to this MIDI controller here, all coming into the organ either filtered or on separate channels so that everything hits the organ as it should without getting into a MIDI loop or any of that nonsense stuff. All of that is being handled down here by the Conductive Labs Mr. CC. Well, MRCC, I should say. I don't know why I say Mr. And so, yeah, that does all the MIDI splitting. One of the jacks is running into itself and then going out again. And it's a little bit complicated, but it's only like the first stage of the cool stuff that you can do with that machine. In addition to this VCMC's faders, I also have these little buttons here, which don't do me any good in controlling anything with the organ. So basically I have this MIDI out split, and one of the other side of this MIDI is going into the GT-1000Core, which handles all the guitar stuff. So I have the melody guitar going into here, or regular guitar, rhythm, and then I have the bass guitar going into here. And basically I don't want to do any program changes here either. So I want to be able to go around to these different effects and switch these on and off. So if I press the select button, it'll switch it on and off so that it's dark, but I can do that same sort of thing with MIDI, which is on the little side here. So if I press this button, if I have it mapped to the right CC, you can see that I've got a regular pedal board. It's exactly like controlling it with your feet, only I can just reach up and press it with my finger. So all of these 8 buttons, like I'll put this 4 for turning off and on effects for the guitar, and then these 4 for turning off effects for the bass guitar, or switching various things. Just to show you that these faders work with the organ, and these buttons work to extend the control over turning on and off things on the guitar pedal. This pedal is able to host multiple guitars, so like you can put bass in here and rhythm guitar here, and you can send them out on dual or stereo outputs. So this can be the output of your guitar chain on the top row, and the bottom row can be these 2 sends, 1 and 2, and it can be completely independent. One thing to note is that it only has 1 tuner, and it only reacts to, I think actually maybe it's the tuner reacts to this one here. So I might have to swap that around. But just to say, if you do use 2 guitars simultaneously with this pedal, you might need a secondary tuner. So the one inside will do 1 guitar, and this external tuner will do the other guitar. I just have to get that straight. And in addition to keyboards and guitar, there's also this pitchy, slidey thing. And the weird alien noise that goes into to here. And if I want to, I can make it steppy instead of slidey by enabling the auto tune, because this is I guess a kind of a voice box. So I can unplug the little synthesizer and plug in a microphone so that I can sing into this box as well. And the buzzy thing here is inside this box next to this VCMC controller that we talked about before. It's the Pico Voice. It has 1 volt per octave and a trigger input, which I run directly from the output of this gate and 1 volt per octave that is generated from the ribbon. And if this sound is too boring, I can do something like that with a sample and hold kind of sound with the random Pico generator thing from Erica Synths. So these 2 things go together. And now I take the audio output of the Pico Voice and run it into the Trim, which is a passive module, because this box only hosts 4 powered Eurorack modules, which is the VCMC, the Pico Voice, the ribbon controller module, and the random that to generate random or not so random voltages. Trim is a 5th module that's not plugged in because it's passive. I close down the signal a little bit because at the end of that, I'm running into this box for auto-tune and reverb and delay. And it's expecting a microphone signal. So trim lowers that signal, that Eurorack signal, which is too hot. It'll overload and make this thing peak too much. So that's really useful to have. There are other ways to do trim. It doesn't have to be in the module, but just to cover up the last 2 HP in this box, I thought it looked pretty neat. And then also there's drums. I can make the drums play themselves with this silly little chord box. But I also have drums that I can play if I'd like to. And that's pretty cool. That has separate outputs. So I could do kind of like a... I can start and stop the rhythm. Or in pad mode, I can make this to be my chick 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 thing from a closed hi-hat. So it helps to have something on the feet while drumming instead of everything on the hands, of course. So yeah, that's basically the rundown of the rig. I just wanted to show you the cool part of how all this works together with splitting the MIDI around so that this can control, this is clav, or this thing can control this synthesizer as well as a synthesizer from another source, and it can also control the organ, and how this thing can control the organ as well as the effects on this completely different pedal with using all sorts of MIDI split functions. And that's about it. All of these machines run into this mixer here, and then from the mixer I can send all this audio out into, well, whatever I like. Anyhow, that's all for today. Bye.